Okay, we're continuing on. You're listening to Chill Chat on Radio Hits 88.2. I'm Omar, and I have a special guest, Shadi Shwareb, author and musician, and we're talking about his latest book, which is called War of the Nexus, Seeds of Chaos. That's volume 1. And it is part of the things that we are seeing here in the Cairo International Book Fair, which is one of the largest book fairs in the world that's happening at the moment at the EIEC. In the 5th district. If you haven't gone, you are still in luck because it ends on the 5th or the 4th.
It ends tomorrow.
It's tomorrow. Today is the 4th, sorry. So it ends on the 5th, which is tomorrow. So you're still in luck. If you haven't gone today, you can still do that. It works from 10 a.m. 10 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Yes, exactly.
So yeah, you're still in time. It's 1:32 at the moment. So you could be driving there at the moment if you haven't. Go check it out. And of course, tomorrow is the last day, so you can check it out there. Now, you've done something different with your book. You didn't only write a book, you made 2-hour soundtrack?
Exactly 1 hour, 37 minutes.
So almost an hour and a half and 7 minutes soundtrack to accompany the book.
Yes.
First of all, how did you work on that?
I was going in parallel with the chapters. Like when I finish a chapter, I kind of feel the vibe of the whole thing, and then I just put the book aside, open my software, and just
start composing.
Yeah, and start composing, which is interesting actually because I did put a lot of engineering into this soundtrack because it's full of references to the writing itself, and it's full of direction as well. So for example, if I'm talking about the World of Fire, so the World of Fire is ruled by 16 lords, so I made a whole track called the 16 lords, and it's made with 16 different instruments, each instrument representing a lord and with what he's in charge of. So
so we're not going to hear somebody screaming in the background or like some sounds of fire, things like that, or
you're gonna listen to that in a different track, which is talking about the World of Fire itself. But the 16 lords is everyone is catching an instrument, like for example in English horn, and then another one called a bassoon, drums. Everyone is representing a lord of what he's responsible of in the World of Fire itself. So I intended to plan every track over there with that kind of structure that represents what they're reading inside the book. That's it.
And so did you the thing is, I'm trying to think about wrap my hand around, like, you have a soundtrack now, you have a book now. Do you recommend that when they're reading the book they listen at the same time or separately, just to get you into the mood? I mean,
most people they're excited about listening to the music while reading. However, my personal recommendation is to read the book separately, and then afterwards you could listen and reread the chapters. There's something that I really want to encourage people to do. I have helped them with imagining the characters, the places, the events, and everything, and even provided the music for that same purpose. But I would encourage people who are reading to imagine everything themselves first, and then look at my kind of imagination. I don't want to pollute their thoughts with mine, you know?
You want them to have their own imagination first, then after that to influence them with the soundtrack /
Exactly. Like adorning their imagination with my imagination in the end.
And the book, the soundtrack is available on all music streaming services.
Yes.
It's on YouTube as well.
Yes, of course.
So if you're going to look for it, it's going to be easy to find. And it's on the book itself. So if you get the book, it's going to be, the QR code is going to be on the back.
Yes.
And you can search there if you have the book and you can't find it. That's the way to go.
Of course.
Okay. So again, there's something I wanted to ask you regarding this. Why or how was it received by the publishing house when he said, I have a book, but it's in English. Here you go. And like did they look at no thank you, or were they actually looking? And did you look at several publishing houses or just one?
I looked at several ones. One did not even reply. The second one was pretty much interested in any English book because they were starting to publish English books. I'm proud to be the first English writer with that publishing house.
Okay.
And they were actually amazed that I could actually promise them 2 more volumes and even a soundtrack. So that's pretty much something that is happening for the first time in Egypt. So that's something that benefits them as well. They had some concerns about the writing style, because the first one is, as I said, like the Silmarillion. It's a reference, and there's a bit of story. So they while we were signing the contract, they said, like, but come on, like volume 2 and 3, you gotta put some narrative in that, some dialogue. I said, sure, yeah, of course.
That doesn't mean that the first one doesn't have dialogue.
It does have it does have dialogue, but not maybe like 10% of the whole thing. But there's a narrative. There's a third-person view on the events and on what's happening. I don't want to influence the characters either. I don't want people to think like that's evil, that's good. You put your own judgment as a reader.
Okay,
that's it.
Awesome. We're going to have one last question when we get back here, because I'm really excited about the book, and I'm sure Shadi is excited as well. His Baby Girl by Bryce Vine.